Fire away.
All right, raise your hand. Get a mic to.
Well, first day back from spring break, what did you think of the attitude, the energy level overall, and was the belt given out, or is that a wait till tomorrow situation?
Yeah, we're gonna wait till tomorrow on the belt, but I feel like definitely the drill, first drill we did was a new drill. We did an attack drill. It definitely sent the energy through the roof to start the practice. I feel like everybody was happy to get back out there, definitely today.
That drill you're talking about where you had 3 blockers, I guess, and the person trying to get in the cone, what is that called?
It's called an attack drill.
Attack drill?
Attack.
And that's new?
Yeah, it's new. And the name's great for it, though. I mean, you getting attacked for sure. I'm talking back to back to back. It's nice, though. I liked it.
You guys, Chad said you guys had a lot of energy coming out.
A lot of energy.
Yeah.
From the start, even the means, I mean, that belt, just since we started doing the belt, it's just upped the energy. The competitions out there just went through the roof and everything.
I know Gregory Brooks is also working over there at the nickel. How are things going there? Who all's kind of rotating in at that spot?
Right now, it's me, Greg Brooks, and Simeon Blair. I think we all work together. We try to get together and talk through situations and all that. We're kind of just one. It's just the nickels. We stay after practice and do our own thing. I feel like Greg's. He's a good guy. He's coming along. He's learning it. He seems pretty natural. And Simeon, we call him the footwork king 'cause his feet are just crazy. But they're all coming along. I think the nickel spot's looking a lot better than it did.
Chad said when you guys got back Sunday, he praised you for staying out of trouble, I guess, basically doing the right things, but also took a look back. So what did that mean to you? What were you guys doing Sunday night?
I'm not sure I am.
Yeah, ask me that again, because that's right. Ask me that again.
Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, and it's brought to you here each and every day on KDSJ 479. A lot to talk about. We're going to open up the phone lines. We have a caller that's going to be tuning in with us here shortly. And Mike Anderson, it was a coach that I thought today it was obviously announced that Coach A has been let go from the Razorback basketball program after 8 years, 169, 102 record, 78 and 54, 64 in conference. And who do we have on here? Caller?
Man, we got King Pippen.
King Pippen on here.
King Pippen, man. Look,
What
man,
you got for me? Talk about, from the Razorback basketball. What's your take on Mike Anderson being let go here at the University of Arkansas?
Man, what the hell is they thinking about? And who the hell they got to replace him? That's what I want to know. Like, what the hell is going on? Who the hell made this decision? Why the hell was it made? And what the hell is we going to do next?
That's the $1 million question.
What the?
King, that's the $1 million question.
I've been hearing Kelvin Sampson's name in the mix, but why the hell would Kelvin Sampson want to come? Like, man, we had the perfect dude in the perfect situation. What the hell? Why the hell was it made? And what the hell is we gonna do next?
That's the $1 million question. It's a situation that I wish I could answer for you. But this is a question I don't think any of us are gonna be able to. Come up with the answer to. Yeah.
And all those guys, like, what are they gonna do now? Like, do you are they staying in Arkansas?
Are you still there, King? I think we might have lost King.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can still hear him. We're just having a little tech issue. My producer will get that straightened out, and then we'll definitely have you join us in the conversation. But I tell you what, why don't we take a break? We'll get it all worked out, and you call me back at the end of the show, and we'll give you a segment right before we get off there.
I got you.
All right.
Hey, man, big up to y'all, man. I love the show, man. Y'all keep working, keep grinding.
Thanks a lot. Hey, Demetrius, from the sounds of it, this is going to be a pretty interesting show. The fans, I know, you know, and I'm one, might have been prophetic, but I don't care. Today is a day for you fans to speak what you feel. I'm not going to censor you. This is our show. This is our airtime. I'm not going to censor you. We're going to have on a lot more. We're going to have on Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. You know, get his take on the decision that was made yesterday to have Mike Anderson removed as the head basketball coach. Also, too, following Scotty at 1:30 will be Alyssa Orange of the KNWA and the Pig Trail Nation. She too will give her take on, you know, where does Arkansas go from here with making that decision to move Coach Anderson out of the head hog seat. And lastly, more you know, scuttlebutt. Kevin McPherson joins us to give his take too on this decision. I mean, it's a head scratcher, Demetrius. It's an absolute head scratcher. If the guy had a losing season, I could understand. And I know people that listen to us or watch us, I know you're sitting there and say, but he didn't win enough. What does the Arkansas program in basketball right now, who are you? Until you realize who you are, you can't recruit to that level. There's not going to be a coach that you just, I mean, they thought the same thing when they let Nolan go. We'll just go get Billy Gillespie. Well, here comes Bill Self. Where are these guys? I remember the days, Demetrius, when Dana Altman, the fan base here at Arkansas thought that they were better than Dana Altman, and Dana Altman's having nothing but success.
You know what I will say? It seems a lot like football. No disrespect to Chad Morris, but there was a lot of guys. I wanted Brad Bielema out too, but we knew once we got him out the door, who were we going to put in? And these guys went out and got, you know, who they thought would fit the program. And I just think sometimes you have to slow down and work with what you got. I do think we should have released Brett Bielema. Not saying that was a bad decision, but sometimes even though you have to let people go, you have to be in position to go get somebody better. And I think for the basketball team, we're not in a position to go get a better coach.
This coach done it the right way, never any infractions. You know, you can talk about that all day. It was a bad season, but I think this, you knew with a young basketball team, that one of 9 teams out of over 300 playing Division I basketball that didn't have a senior on the team, and you want to tell me that you expect this team to, you know, have great success? 12 one-possession games by 5 points or less, and you can't tell me that you didn't see the progress in this basketball team these last 2 games without Daniel Gafford. This is a travesty. It's a bad decision. I'm not the powers that be. They're going to make the decisions. But to me, it seems like the boosters at the University of Arkansas make a lot of these decisions, and they won't spend money if they can't dictate. And I think if you're going to have that as a fan base, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season. Try to get back to think you're going to get back to the days of 1994, 95. Not doing it that way, fan base, and not doing it that way, administration. It's a travesty. I'm very disappointed from my point of view. I'm in the media, and I have an opinion, and you might not like it today, but this stays for the people, the callers, and my guests. And we're going to get on and move into more scuttlebutt as we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to let you hear, can this basketball team, if some of these guys come back, you know, what's their take? NIT, the NCAA, what can be done? We'll hear from Desi Seals and Isaiah Joe, and then we'll be back with Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins from KDSJ 479. Let's go.
They got a lot better, and then they made the NCAA tournament, making it to the Sweet 16s and things like that. Now I feel like we can do the same.
We can do the same thing. This is a learning experience. NIT was a learning experience. So next year we're going to come in working hard on off season and do what we can to get to the tournament.
Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla. Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's our On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk. It's our Wednesday edition of OTH, brought to you on KDSJ 479, and came out yesterday, roughly around the 3:30 hour. That Coach Mike Anderson would not be retained as the head basketball coach here at Arkansas, leaving this position vacant. And we thought we'd get more scuttlebutt as today we want to delve off into this situation. Find out, is it good or is it bad? But yeah, we're going to bring a lot of our scoop in. And first, we're going to start with Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Scotty, welcome back to OTH, my man.
Hey, thanks for having me again, Pat.
What's your take? I, for one, when it came down, I think it's a travesty, my personal opinion. But I'm one of many. You know, I've checked, been on social media. It seems to be real split down the middle, Scotty. Did the university make the right decision?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm trying to see this from both sides. I'm trying to kind of stay out of the making my own opinion. I really don't do that a whole lot. But I think there was like we talked about it before. I think there was a section of the fan base that was always going to support Mike no matter what happened. And just they loved his character and his integrity, and that part of him has never been questioned before. And then I think there was a maybe a more vocal part of the fan base that was just upset and thought about after 8 years that it was time for a change. And I think Hunter Yurachek and some of the administration and some of the higher ups thought it was time to make a change. And we'll see. We're obviously going to see if
it just seems
we're
to me,
obviously going to see if
Scotty,
this was a good decision ultimately.
it seems real eerie. It seems more of the Charlie Strongish type of ousting. You know, Charlie had that real good group. You knew they were about to take that step, and you also knew that if Charlie was given an extra year, the team, you know, goes on and makes the bowl game as they did and start to play quite well. Now you can't get rid of Charlie. I think that's what, you know, because I think this is not so much a Hunter Yurachek deal. I think this is more of the powers that be kind of making decision. You know, if you don't do what I say, I'm gonna take my money and run. Is that something? Because it's just nothing about this seems to feel right, Scotty, from my vantage point, you know, here in the media.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. I mean, strictly looking at the team that Mike was going to have coming back next year, assuming that you have guys like Isaiah, Mason, Reggie, Desi, Jalen Harris, you have those guys coming back, and then say you add a couple of pieces, because we know TJ and the staff were recruiting. The junior college was pretty heavy. They wanted to get some experience and some men in, I guess, to kind of complete the roster and round it out. I think they had a chance to be. I think they would have a chance to be pretty solid next year. I mean, they could probably match this year's win total potentially, but I guess we just won't know now. And that, in a way, that's kind of unfortunate because I was really curious just to see how next year was going to play out. But it's a little bit odd. Like I'm trying to look at it from both sides. I definitely hate to see a man lose his job, and especially when nobody's ever questioned the man he is. But yeah, it's an odd situation. It's a first for me, obviously, since I've been on this beat.
Who's next? It seems that, you know, back when, you know, during a lot of us in the media during the time with Nolan, kind of the same stuff. You had a plan. You know, you hear the Calvin Sampsons, you hear the Chris Beards, you hear Greg Marshalls. You know, all these names are thrown out. But realistically, you know, I know y'all see on social media that Arkansas is this great job. But based on, you know, if I'm a coach and how things go down at this school, not only basketball, but in multiple sports, do you feel safe to take this job knowing that so much is not put in the lap of the AD, but by the powers that be that are giving the money, running the program? I mean, what, is this a safe job to be a head coach at Arkansas?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I'm sure whoever's offered the job is going to definitely have to sit and think about that, whether they want to walk into this situation and just, yeah, like that. There's two different things like you walk into. I think when you take the job, it's, can you have success here? What's the support? I think the support is obviously a big factor. Yeah, well, I don't know. That's a good question, Pat. That's a great one. You kind of stumped me with. Yeah, I think it's like, as far as the SEC goes, like, I think it's probably like mid-tier job. Because you've got some powers like Kentucky, Tennessee's on the rise, Auburn's up there, Florida's good, LSU is coming out of nowhere. So I mean, that's like 5 or 6 schools right there. So you're at best kind of middle of the pack. And Arkansas could pay better than the middle of the pack. We'll see. It's going to be a tough job no matter who steps in and takes it.
Assuming, Mike, we've gotten another year, I firmly believe this team would have been NCAA. I felt like they were going to get the right pieces and be like more of those teams that you saw at UAB, Missouri, and in the beginning here at Arkansas, being those attacking teams, guys that can shoot the ball, a lot of guys that are multiple, can do multiple things on the court. I felt like they were going back into that, so I felt like if given another year, but if this doesn't work out, how long do you think this sets the program back if they don't get the right guy? Because he's going to have to come in and instantly, just like Mike and staff, he's going to have to give some real mature guys to go with this talent. What if that doesn't happen in year one? What's the pulse, and how long did the fan base and the powers that be start before they start circling with the Wolves?
Yeah, I think if it doesn't start going well, maybe by year 2, then people are going to probably start getting pretty restless. I think this program hasn't been to a Sweet 16 since '96.
Right.
I was 3 years old. The last time they went to a Sweet 16, which is kind of crazy to think about. I'm not that old, but still 20 plus years ago. I think people are just starving for the success, like the postseason success and the success in March. They kind of made the program what it is back in its heyday, and even with Eddie Sutton, had some postseason success here too. Not what Nolan did by any means, but I think the success has got to happen, or you're gonna have to make another change, and then that could be 2 or 3 lost years, and then potentially another year when the next coach comes in. So you kind of hit it on the head. It could be 4 or 5 years. It could be 4 or 5 years if the next hire doesn't work out.
Well, Scotty, it's going to be a busy day. We've got to open up these phone lines, but I had to get your take. Like I said, you do a great job. Love your insight. And, we'll just have to – that's the $1 million question. Who will this guy be, and what will be the residual on this investment? Because I'm hearing $4 million. I think it's, crazy. But, I'm just one of the little guys. But as always, Scotty, thanks for taking time out on the hill, my man.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. You have a good one, man.
All right, my man. I'm Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. We're going to step away and play just audio today. It's all about audio. Then we're going to recap Arkansas and Coach Anderson's 8-year career, multiple videos, and we'll come back with Alyssa Orange of the KNWA and Pig Trail Nation. She's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla.
In Fayetteville, Arkansas, as we gear up for round 2 of the women's NIT tournament here at Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas, fresh off a victory in overtime over Houston on Thursday, takes on the visiting University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers. Come the Hogs in transition. Toll-free, shaking and baking down the lane, feeds it out. Mason for 3, got it!
Excellent first defense.
Illinois brings it up the floor. She's the team's leading. This is Childress now. She is the team's leading scorer. Turned over by Monk. Malika in a hurry.
Great hands defensively by Malika Monk. Getting out in transition early. This is a great start for Arkansas.
5-0 Hogs up early. UAB coming in with a record of 26-6 on the season. They finished second in Conference USA. As Kuzmanik drives and Rachel Childress, she does drives and scoring, looking for a slicing Vendrell and couldn't find her. Does find her rather, and she turns around and lays it up.
Nice pass off the pick and roll, and nice turnaround shot by Vendrell.
Monk down the lane, short. Rebound to Monk, throws it up and got it to go. Monk's got 4 points.
Nice find by Barnes in early transition.
Inside of 6 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. Toll-free, a step-back three. Drained it. Replacing Angela Vendrell. Dungy thought about a three. Crossed over her defender to make some room. Now to Monk for three. Got it!
Welcome in, welcome in. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479 as we come to you each and every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And before we get to our next guest, I want to give a shout out real quick to our sponsors, Lindsay & Associates, with an office location in Rogers, an office location also too in Fayetteville. The Baymont Hotel, located at 735 South Shiloh Drive in Fayetteville. Also, Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And our newest sponsor, Corey Beck's Custom Painting. Now on to talk more of this Mike Anderson travesty, and I call it a travesty. I want to bring in our good friend. She does a great job for the KNWA and also Pig Trail Nation, Alyssa Orange. Alyssa, welcome to On the Hill.
Hey. Yeah, Pat, thanks so much. It's been quite a 24 hours for the two of us, huh?
Quite emotional. Alyssa, I'm not a proponent in the media. I know we all have our opinion. I think this was a travesty, and I'm one of the belief that I think history will repeat itself. I think you don't fire a guy that's done the thing Mike Anderson's done. Yeah, maybe not to the win total, but I felt like given another year, he might have started to take it up a notch, as he said in his post-game following the Indiana loss. What say you on this situation, Alyssa?
Yeah, I think I can come on board with you there. I hate it, and I don't like it. I don't like the decision, but I understand it because we've talked about this as a win result business, and I understand that. And then you can counter that with saying, well, my son never had a losing season. Exactly. So I was pretty shocked. I thought they would give him one more year because of how young this team was. And I talked with Mike Irwin, one of my coworkers, and it almost seems like Mike was kind of caught by surprise because he thought they had a little bit of an understanding, him and Hunter, where this team was going to be young, this team was going to have ups and downs, and this team was going to be better next year, and to just be patient. And then it kind of caught him off guard. And I know you've talked to some coaches on the staff and such, and I think everybody was caught off guard by this.
When you look at the players, rumors swirling, Reggie Chaney's going to leave if Mike were to be retained. Mason Jones, you heard rumors. Almost every player was leaving. From if you check social media, when you look at the way those kids were responding through social media and footage that I was able to see from Tara Talman's young lady that works for you all. Talk about that. So many people, Alyssa, miss the point of how these kids and coaches families, really do care for one another.
Yeah, I think it's different. I think that unlike the NFL or the NBA or any other professional sport, you choose where you want to go to college and who you want to play for. And a lot of that is relationships that you've built with these coaches, with Mike Anderson, with TJ, with Scotty, with Melvin over the years. There are guys who want to play for Arkansas no matter who was coaching Arkansas, but there are guys who want to come play for Mike Anderson. And so you sometimes lose that when these coaches things go down. You focus on Mike Anderson, but there's a lot of other people that are impacted. Their video guy, Will Bartlett, lives down the street from me, right? There are other people who are impacted by what happens with the program and with the firing of Mike Anderson. Going back to the players, the biggest perspective that I could get was when I talked to Nolan yesterday on the phone. And Nolan said, he understands that these are people who are like family. And you don't really know if a guy has come to play at Arkansas or if they came to play for the coach. And when he was fired, he had a player who came back and was like, we're not playing for Arkansas. And it threw the school off a little bit, and they were like, well, wait a minute. They're like, no, we came to play for Nolan. We didn't come to play just at Arkansas. So you have to understand that we're going to see in time within the next weeks and months where all those players fall on that line.
When you look at this short list, it seems to be a magical short list that they're just throwing out, and possibly I've heard rumors $4 million, which I think is absolutely crazy. Chris Beard, guys like Calvin Sampson, these are guys that have known track records of maybe not getting it done, some on the cheating side or both on the cheating side. Where is this program, Alyssa? Because you fire a guy that's pretty much brought you out of the mud, got you respectable, and had a chance to take you up a notch. Where are they at? Because it just doesn't seem to, be enough here at Arkansas.
I think that you have to look at this constructively, and I think that in time, Mike Anderson will reflect and point out maybe something that he wished he could have accomplished at Arkansas that didn't happen. I don't think Mike is going to walk around oblivious to that, and so I think that's important. That he wanted to do things at Arkansas that he couldn't, and I think he'll be able to reflect on that in a few years. When you throw out some of these names where Arkansas wants to be, you kind of laugh, because are you going to get lightning in a bottle like you got with Kermit Davis at Ole Miss, who was able to turn that program around so quickly after Andy Kennedy left? But is it going to be sustainable? And that's the biggest question, is if you can sustain it. Kelvin Sampson right now, being very successful at Houston, has really, since that second and third year he stepped on campus, got there in 2014, really turned things around in 2015, 2016, and then obviously right now they're 33-3 and headed to the Sweet 16. Right. But he's been other places, Indiana, Oklahoma, Washington State. So he's been in Power 5 conferences before. Is he a fit here? I'm not sure. I think people are throwing out Chris Beard's name because he coached at Little Rock, and it's a name people know and are fresh with. Right. But I covered Chris Beard in Abilene his 1 year at McMurray, his first head coaching job, and he was there for a year. Did well. Went to Angelo State for 2 years. Went to Little Rock for a year. Went to NLV for about a week or so, and then went to Texas Tech when Texas Tech opened and left UNLV. I think you need to look at Chris Beard constructively. He's a great coach. He's successful. Is he loyal? And if you're Arkansas and you want to turn a program around, are you going to hire someone who hasn't shown a whole lot of loyalty outside of Lubbock to come here and stay here? You know what I mean? Because what's to say he's not going to leave for something else? I don't know, the minute that Shaka Smart may or may not be at Texas anymore and he goes to his alma mater. That's the biggest issue I have with Chris Beard, is if you're trying to be Arkansas and build a program, it's not with a guy who hasn't stayed longer than 2 years somewhere outside of Lubbock.
Do you feel the AD runs a program, or is just, to me, growing up, living here in the Northwest Arkansas area and covering this program as I have, it just seems to me that this program is ran more like the Dallas Cowboys, in that the people with the money call the shots, and they just put someone in that seat and put the AD title. I mean, that's just me. I mean, what do you think about, how things are ran within this program? Because like I said, you've covered multiple programs, Florida State being one of the Power 5. When you compare those two, is it that bad? Do the boosters, are they that, controlling in other programs as they are here in Arkansas?
Sure. Well, I think it's a culture thing. And I think if you look at how Florida State went down with Jimbo and how everything happened over there, I do believe it's no longer solely an athletic department thing. I do think you have outside influences. Now, how big are those outside influences? I think we're about to find out, Pat. I think this is about to be the first big hire of Hunter Yurachek, and we're about to see how it goes. He wasn't solely involved with hiring Chad Morris because he had just gotten hired the week before. So we're about to find out, how Hunter Yurachek wants to make a statement here at Arkansas. And you hear the rumors and you hear the talk, and so I think it's going to be interesting to see. But I have a strong opinion where I don't believe that you cannot tell me there is no outside influence.
You did a video last night on social media that I want to commend you. I thought you spoke in the words that, and couldn't have, I don't think anyone could have said it better in describing Coach Anderson. Alyssa, what was the root of that video in your words?
You know, I've been thinking about it all day, and the one thing in our job in this business, when we have breaking news like that and we get on there and deliver it to the fans, to our viewers, it's the facts. And this is what happened. This is what was said by the university. Here is what's being said by the players. And that's our job. But we're also humans. And I felt it necessary, and I've never felt it necessary before, to put my personal feelings about it out there on my own personal platform, because I understand my job, and I truly believe that I can do my job and do my job well, but still leave the newsroom with a heart, because I'm human, and we're all human. And even though this is our job, we talk to these coaches and these players every day, every week, and it's almost impossible not to develop relationships with them. And so when you're sitting down and talking to Mike Anderson one-on-one, and you know, a lot of stuff is that we talk about outside of the interviews when the cameras are off are a little more personal, and you know, and you get to know these people, and so it's hard because you feel for them, and we all know it's going to be just fine, but we're still human and still can empathize with being fired. I think everyone, or most everyone, knows what that feels like at some point in their life.
Real quick before I let you go, I want all our listeners and viewers to know we're talking with Alyssa Orange of KNWA and Pig Trail Nation. Does a wonderful job. I think we won't get off into that. I'll say that I won't get you in trouble. But last question, Arkansas's women will be hosting TCU in round 3. Talk about what we've seen from this program, Alyssa, this season, and what can we expect tomorrow night?
Hey, I'm going to just tell you, if they show up and show out like they did the last time around, then I think it's going to be pretty great. I'm pretty excited for this team to watch them keep winning, and they're hot right now, and they're a dangerous team in the women's NIT. And so get to Bud Walsh, because it's going to be a show tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited to see if this team can keep it going.
Thanks a lot, Alyssa. Thanks for taking time out on the hill, and I'll catch up with you,
anytime.
I'm pretty sure, tomorrow. All
right, Pat. Take care. See you later.
All right. That was KNWA's Alyssa Orange giving her take on the, releasing and dismissal of Coach Mike Anderson as the head hog here in Fayetteville, Arkansas for the University of Arkansas. We're going to step away, give you a few more highlights, and then we're coming back with more scuttlebutt from this Coach Anderson being let go at the University of Arkansas with Kevin McPherson of AR Hoops at Hogville.net. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
Isaiah Joe, very sharp shooting freshman, hits his first three. Touchdown. Isaiah Joe rattles another pack in the press against the men. Yes, they did against Air. Three is good from Isaiah Joe. Great cut right there. He's not just a three-point shooter. He made a good cut. There's no need for that shot. No-look pass. Three is good! What a shooter, Isaiah Joe!
Arkansas stars need to see in those balls through the gap for Jackson Hayes. Goes back. He turns his back to the defender every time.
Romeo Langford now 6. It's a one-point game. There's the three. He's shooting 65% from the field, but shooting with confidence. Isaiah Joe's not afraid to throw it up. Healthy. It's a good resume victory if they can hang on and win. The extra pass for the three, and that goes down for Isaiah Joe. Great.
Harris probing. Isaiah Joe hits the triple from the base.
Keep it on him.
Isaiah Joe waits for the flyby and then drills another three-point basket. Had to steal. Secondary break. Isaiah Joe waits for another flyby. 3 threes in the first half for Joe. Isaiah Joe.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our March 27th edition of OTH, coming to you live here on KDSJ 479 Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And time to continue this on. Coach Anderson was notified yesterday by Hunter Yurchek, AD at the University of Arkansas, that he would no longer be retained as the head hog here in Fayetteville for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And we want to talk about that more with our good buddy of AR Hoops and Hallfield.net, Kevin McPherson. K-Mac. Welcome back to the Hill.
Oh, Pat, it's a solemn day, but always good to be with you, sir.
Absolutely. I'm of the belief, I think the decision made yesterday, knee-jerk reaction. I liken it kind of to that Charlie Strong at Texas, where you see a hot coach trying to make a move before that hot coach may get another opportunity. But you see a coach that has some young talent that you're not going to absolutely give a chance to have that year to go get in that tournament, because then you won't be able to get rid of them. That's just my take. What's your take on just what happened yesterday here at the University of Arkansas?
Yeah, we're in a fast food environment when it comes to sports, right? Fans want it right now. They don't want to wait. There's no, run through and get it now. And fans will say, well, he had 8 years. Well, actually, the first 2 or 3 years, he was pulling the fire. He had to fix everything. Culture, there was a toxic culture up there. You had APR issues he was still dealing with and couldn't just turn over the roster like he wanted to. He had to ride some guys out and let them graduate. But also, it just took a while when you have not won anything. And they were the worst team in the SEC in road games. They'd been in the bottom of the league. If you look at the Heath and Pell years combined, even though there was a 3-year span of making the tournament, but there was just a lot of stuff to fix. And so I think when you look at the last 4 or 5 years, he elevated the program to the top tier of the SEC. We're talking second, third, fourth place finishes in 3 of the past 4 seasons. And yes, this year, brand new team, 9 newcomers. Backcourt was completely new, and they were so competitive.
Right.
This team was so close in so many games. It was really 2 wins away from the NCAA tournament. So, yeah, I tend to think, even with Gafford moving on, I saw the pieces for an NCAA team next season. I think Mike's been a good coach at Arkansas. I think he fixed this program, and I think he won enough that you don't move on from him, Pat, a good coach like that, unless you've just got some kind of all-star lined up in the wings ready to come in. And we'll see what happens there. But I think Mike did enough to say that he could still move the needle forward and get back to the tournament next year. So from that standpoint, calling it a knee-jerk reaction, sure. I mean, definitely think that Mike had success here and could have had even greater success.
How much of the fan base, certain individuals in the media, boosters kind of piling on Hunter Yurchek, and you go back, and I liken this to maybe when Arkansas, and I think Mike, and you mentioned this, Kevin, you lose the College World Series, football has a bad season right out of the chute, and before Mike even started the basketball season, you hear fans already grumbling. I mean, tell me what's going on with that type of fan behavior, and how can a coach and a young team fight through so much adversity and kind of avoid the inevitable, which happened yesterday?
Yeah, so with fans, it's just, I don't think it's just Arkansas fans. I think if you look around the country, everybody wants to win now. The baseball program has been probably of the 3, obviously the strongest in the last few years in terms of getting to those higher levels nationally. But to finish like that team did, and the disappointment there, and then it bleeds into the off season. You go into football and have, you're starting over there, and you have a 2-10 season. I just think by the time it got to Mike's turn, after following up on those 2 things, everybody knew this young team was going to struggle, and so you knew that going in. I think things just percolated, and I'm not going to blame him being gone on the fan base. But I will say that I do think there are a lot of fans that have been unrealistic about his accomplishments. Okay, I don't think he's gotten the credit for what he's actually done here. But at the same time, at a program like Arkansas, there should be some more national success than he's been able to achieve so far. Right. And I wasn't counting him out on getting there. But obviously time ran out in somebody's mind because a decision was obviously made yesterday to start something new. But again, I do feel like the fans probably had a little different optics on him even coming into the season based on some hurt from the other sports. I do.
When you look at it, a coach on staff almost said instantly when they arrived, made a comment, we're going to have to win ourselves into the homes of the elite ball players. I felt like, when they got Bobby after 2015, you start to see the fruits of their labor in recruiting as they recruited, here 2 out of the last 3 years, 3 out of the last 4 years. They've had a very sought-after, highly sought class nationally. You knew this team was young. How could this have been give Mike, that's my devil's advocate. You give Mike a year, they add the pieces, and they become a team like an Auburn, or teams like we used to watch at UAB under Coach Anderson, Missouri, and his early stages at Arkansas. Is that something that maybe these boosters looked at and said, if we're not going to do it now, then he may do something that we don't expect, and then we can't get rid of him because now he's got his team rolling.
I guess that's possible. I mean, I'm not going to get inside their minds. I do think that we've seen since this, we've seen sweeping changes now in a year at Arkansas in the leadership. Jeff Long, Bielema, and now Mike Anderson, and sometimes when you have a change, especially at the top at AD, things like this will happen pretty quickly. But normally it's for a coach failing. Mike's not been failing. I mean, this was a down year. He's had some of his better recruiting classes. It was an awfully young team. People say, well, the roster imbalance and being so young, that's on him. Well, yeah, but at the end of the day, the coach is accountable. But at the same time, if you can see the building blocks for success and a run, I mean, this team was so close. The youngest team in college basketball, 2 wins away probably from making that NCAA tournament. So there's definitely reasons to keep him. I understand some of the thinking that went into making a move now. When you look back at the last 8 years, if you're only looking at, look, man, we need some Sweet 16s at least. We need to be ranked more consistently. A program like Arkansas really should achieve that. Mike Anderson was here, but they probably with next year's team, I felt like what you're saying, they would have gotten back to the tournament. And if your goal is to make a change, it'd be a lot harder to do it. You're right at that point than it is now.
Play devil advocate, our last question, and we're talking with Kevin McPherson of AR Hoop Scoop and also Hogville.net. Multiple team players leave. They hire the coach, but say you lose a Desi Seals or a Reggie Chaney or Isaiah Joe or Mason Jones, Keyshawn, or some of those key pieces. What does that do for this program if those things come to fruition? Because I'm of the belief history will repeat itself in this instance, and Arkansas's program will be set back basketball-wise for another 3 or 4 years, in my humble opinion. What say you on that?
So, as far as player movement at this point, yeah,
yes.
I mean,
yes. Let's say
it depends on who
those 4 guys decided not to stay. What does that do for the incoming?
Yeah, that's going to be tough. You lose core guys. I mean, that was the question mark for Mike, and losing core guys, and on a young team that has pieces to be a good team, if you lose those core guys, whoever the coach is, that's going to be a struggle. I mean, I don't care who the guy is, unless he's bringing a bag of money. And we joke about that. But look at all these FBI problems and things going on right now. But short of buying players in a fast fashion, like they did at LSU, apparently, reportedly, allegedly, it could be some a couple of years of down years if you lose core guys. There's no doubt about it. And anytime there's a coaching change, there are going to be some guys that leave, and so we just got to see how it all plays out, see what their plans are. I've always said this too, Pat. You don't replace a good coach like Mike Anderson unless you're about to hit a home run, and it's a once in a time opportunity. So we'll see what plan they had. I guess it'll play out shortly.
Well, my man, as always, love the insight, and we'll catch up soon and have lots to talk about. But as always, thanks for taking time out on the Hill, Kevin.
Good to be with you, Pat, always.
All right. That was Kevin McPherson. What time do we have over there, Mr. Demetrius Johnson? Enough time to take a few more calls, so if you want to get in and chime in on with your thoughts, what you think about the UA's decision to dismiss Arkansas head coach Mike Anderson yesterday, give us a call, 601-7400, area code 479. That'll get you in. Back in a moment. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla.
Tigers just 1 of 8 from deep. Cook to Hall. First start's been a doozy for the Frost. Darius Hall has scored 8 straight for Arkansas.
Not a 1-3 starter in the SEC.
Corner 3, Robertson gets it to go. The transfer Canisius asked about playing in this atmosphere. Thompson will offer the screen. Macon with the mismatch, blew right past Tillman.
And I can appreciate that because his best version is really fun to watch.
He was an AAU teammate of Michael Porter Jr.
Welcome back to On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live here on KDSJ 479 Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. We have just enough time for one caller. He's going to be a special caller, Boo Williams. Boo, what you got for me, my man?
Man, what's going on, Pat? What's going on up on the hill? I love what you're doing, man. I love the show and listening in, and you got some very good insight, very good, interesting news, especially with the firing of the basketball coach, Mike
Right.
Anderson.
Where are you at on that, Boo?
Where I'm at on it is, the guy, he didn't even have any seniors on his team. He was playing with a lot of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and even for him to even make it to the tournament was big. So, I think that, he needed a little bit more time, and if he could get one more year, I think he probably could have got to the Sweet 16 or even to the Final 8. But, it's just, a shame that he lost his job so soon. On to the next coach, I guess.
When you look at this situation, Boo, you played here at Arkansas as a former Razorback wide receiver, former New Orleans Saint. Being in Fayetteville and from that standpoint on the other side, talk about when you walk away from it, how the fan base, and it seems like the boosters, not the AD, but a lot of the boosters make a lot of the decisions around here. Does that hurt or help the program? When you talk about recruiting, and recruiting's about relationships, Boo. When the hires that get involved, talk about how that can be damaging for your program going forward, even though it has good intent.
Well, I think that the boosters, they play, like you said, they play a big part of recruiting, of things that go on campus, and sometimes the booster club, I should say, sometimes need to step out of it because a lot of times they're thinking with their pockets and not really with their head. And when a coach, when he comes in, say for instance like the first year head coach of football, yeah, he's a good coach. He's a motivator. He has the perfect guys, perfect coaches with him. And he needs a couple years, at least 2 to 3 years, to get his players to jail, to get his new players in, to get the old players out,
right? And
to show what his recruiting class is really all about. And we're in a world now, a microwave world. We want everything real fast and hot and fast.
Right.
But it's not going to be like that, especially when you're dealing with 17, 18, and 19-year-old kids. You're dealing with kids. So, it's a thing of giving a guy his shot, giving him his chance, but at the same time, letting him excel at his chance by giving him the time to get his correct philosophy in.
Right. Well, hey, my man. As always, we got to wrap this thing up. I'll be talking to you I think we'll schedule next Monday to have you on. And could you tell the listeners, I know you have a show, could you tell the listeners how they can catch that real quick?
Oh, yeah, they can always chime in to my show on ESPN Radio, Panama City, 104.3 ESPN Radio, Panama City, or you can catch us, either on air or you can catch us live on the web or Facebook Live. The show has really excelled. It's really been taking off.
Hey, I've been checking you out.
Yeah, man, we got a star-studded lineup every day, man, and we go on from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time, and it's been a great thing to see all these different actors and athletes and stars call the show and own the show as well. And like I said, man, I couldn't ask for nothing more.
Well, my man, I know to our listeners, had a chance and privilege of covering Boo Williams during his time playing for Houston out here at Arkansas. Great receiver, but I'm talking about an even better human being. I mean, this guy will give you the shirt off his back. But as always, my man, we'll keep up. I'm going to be bringing you here on this show quite a bit, so get used to it. And I'm proud of you. Congratulations, and thanks for taking time out on the hill, Boo.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, man. Everybody go check out Booberry Cares. That's BOOBARY Cares with the K, and see what we're doing for the community here in Panama City and the Panhandle for the Hurricane Michael disaster relief efforts.
All right. You have a good one, my man.
All right, you too, brother.
And that was Boo Williams, former Arkansas Razorback, former New Orleans Saints, calling in with his thoughts on the Mike Anderson decision made by the University of Arkansas to dismiss Coach Mike Anderson as the head hog here in Fayetteville. And that's going to wrap it up. I want to give a thank you to our guest, Scotty Borland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, also to Alyssa Orange of KNWA and the Nation. And lastly,